Hi, I'm Glenn Ewanchuk from Remax Excellence,
And I'm Angie Ewanchuk.
and this is Charlene and Andrachuk from Servus Credit Union. Hi, Charlene.
Hi there.
Hi. Today we're at Servus Credit Union in Sherwood Park, and we have a bunch of questions for Charlene regarding the advantages to going with, say, a credit union versus the traditional banks. So let's dive into those questions and get started.
I'm so excited.
Awesome. So am I. Thank
Okay,
you.
great.
So with an Alberta-based Servus Credit Union, what are some of the advantages that you offer from the regular banks?
When you become a member of Servus Credit Union and you'd like to deal with us, you become a member. What that means is that you are purchasing a common share from us, and we pay you for the volume of business that you do with the credit union. So what that means is you are a member owner. We pay our profits back to our members. Every year in December, we pay out profit share, and it is based on the volume of business that you do with us. Along with that, we offer something that's called patronage advance. And so, for example, if a person had a $400,000 mortgage, we can pay you $1,000 up front, and you're getting those funds in advance. Perhaps you need to use the funds for some closing costs instead of waiting for it every year in December. That is one of the biggest advantages. And again, you're a member owner of the credit union.
So can you walk us through the mortgage process from application to the approval, and what are some of the timelines that you need to do that?
What I like to do is when a member comes in to see me for doing a mortgage application, I would like to ask them, what is your budget for purchasing a home? Have you been looking at different areas as to which area you'd like to move into? Have you thought about a condo, a house, perhaps an acreage? I also want to talk to them about what can you afford. Can you also tell me a little bit about what your down payment is? How long have you been saving the funds for the down payment? Those are all things that are important to know. I'm able to do a quick calculation when it comes to the debt servicing ratios, have that conversation so that a member knows what they are able to afford. As long as the member has brought in all of their income documents, I will put the application together and put my recommendation on it. Usually we can have an answer for them within a 24-hour period when we do need to send it to our credit department. Now that is as long as the member has provided me with all of the documentation. And then once it is approved, of course, perhaps we may have to get an appraisal done on the property. And again, depending how long it takes to get that in, it could be a couple of days. I would say maybe around 3 to 4 days for us to have that approval in place, as long as everything goes as planned.
So that being said, what are some of the things that you can tell an applicant to have ready before they come in and see you that makes you do the process really quickly?
So I like to actually have a phone conversation with the member before they come in. I like to let them know what income they need to bring in for documents. I do like to ask them, what type of employment do you have, so that I know exactly what to tell them for income documents. Along with them, I also want them to provide me proof of their down payment. We do need 90 days to show how long that down payment has been saved. And think about what your budget is. Where do you want to live, right? All of those different things, it's going to make a difference as to what your budget is. And also think about what you can afford.
So what extra support do you offer an applicant throughout the stages of the application?
I do like to keep the members updated. I am more than happy to, send out a quick email to them, or also a phone call. Have you been pre-approved? Are we ready to do an appraisal? The other thing that's really important is I want to make sure that I know the realtor that they're dealing with as well. and ask for their permission. Can I share information with your realtor, so that all three of us are on the same page?
So that is a great point, keeping the realtor in the loop, because a lot of times we're dealing with an application and we are wondering on day 5, where are we at? And it's like crickets. So that's gold. So with every mortgage, there's always a whole menu of options that people can take, whether they're fixed, variable, all those type of things. What options do you offer that are a little different from the banks?
Well, first of all, options when it comes to mortgages, there, like you said, there are so many different ones. A few that we absolutely have are and it all depends on the member that's coming to see me. So the first one that I would like to talk about is the high ratio mortgage. So that, of course, is for somebody who has less than 20% down. That is one option. Another one is a conventional mortgage, where it is just a straight mortgage. You have more than 20% down. We also have a product that is it's called a flex line. So it's a hybrid between a mortgage and a line of credit, where you are able to have a line of credit to a loan to value of 65%. And along with that, there could also be an option that you can just have a straight line of credit. But again, that all depends on the member. Something else that is new that has just come out is for members who are refinancing their homes, and they're looking for additional income, where you can now borrow money to build a secondary suite in your home. So that is something that is new, and that can be under the high ratio program.
Okay, so can you explain for everyone what the difference between fixed rate and variable rate is? Because a lot of people, they just focus on what the cheapest interest rate is, and I know that's not always in their best interests.
Yes, that is for sure. A lot of people actually, they do just focus on that number, on that interest rate. So what the difference is, a fixed interest rate is a term where it's anywhere from 1 to 5 years. And that rate is locked for that period of time. So for example, a 3-year. So you're locked into that term for 3 years. Just a little bit more information on that also is, when you go with a fixed interest rate, if you want to pay it out early, you could look at having some penalties. So on a fixed rate, if there was a penalty, you would be having either 3 months of interest or an interest rate differential. And what a differential is we take a look at what your interest rates are and what interest rates are doing at the time. And we do a calculation, and then the member would be charged the higher of the two. A variable rate is a 5-year term, where the interest rate is based on a prime-based product. At this time right now, it's a prime minus product. And again, it is for 5 years. Again, if you are looking at paying us out early for some chance, possibly you've sold your home, there is a 3-month interest penalty. So that's the big difference when it comes to the fixed and the variable interest rates.
So, and one more thing. Now, there's always this thing of, if I take a 5-year mortgage and I want to, say, move, or my job changes, or I get transferred, is the mortgages with the credit union, are they all portable?
Yes, actually they are. So that is one of the things that a lot of members, they'll have a concern. What happens if I do move? So for example, let's say that we are in a fixed interest rate and you are 3 years into that term and you are now moving to a different community. You need to buy a new house. We can absolutely look at moving that interest rate over to that new mortgage for you. Now, if you're adding new money onto that mortgage, let's say, for example, your mortgage is $300 and now it is going to be $400. We will look at blending that interest rate for you. Also, if your mortgage is just the same, $300 to $300, we could just look at moving that interest rate over to that new property for you. So it makes it really convenient for members.
And so what you're saying is there's more to a mortgage than just getting the best interest rate.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I'm saying. I know that so many people are they're so attracted to what that interest rate is, and it's really more than just the interest rate. I do know that there are a lot of teaser rates out there where members see this fantastic rate and that's all they see. But you really have to be able to read the fine print, find out what that mortgage is all about. What happens when you want to perhaps do some debt consolidation down the road? Are you able to blend that interest rate? Right? Um, yeah, you have to know exactly what you're getting yourself into.
So what does the credit union offer in, let's say, if you come into some money and or you sell something else and you want to apply that to your mortgage? Like, what are the, I guess, rules on how much you can pay down or paying off your mortgage earlier? Is it annually or is it over the whole term, or how do they structure that?
So when it comes to paying out your mortgage early, we have certain rules that you have to follow. It's called the 2020 rule. So you can put down 20% of your original mortgage anytime throughout the year. And in addition to that, you can also increase your payments by 20%. So by putting that extra 20% down, that is going directly to your principal, and you are paying it down quicker, and also you're paying less in interest. Now, the other thing is too, what happens if somebody does come into a lot of money and they can just pay out that mortgage completely? So again, it would be either 3 months of interest or the interest differential. But always when somebody does have extra money, I always want to have the opportunity to speak to them so that we're able to find out the best way to pay out that mortgage for them.
Right now, we're in a seller's market, Charlene, where we're seeing houses, fly off the shelves because we're in a really low inventory spot. What kind of trends are you seeing in the mortgage business? Because, we get asked that all the time. Like, is it a time to sell or should we hold off? So, what's your take on that?
Well, my take on that right now is, are you ready to buy a home? Right? You could certainly wait when things maybe slow down, where it is a buyer's market, but maybe something in your life goes astray and it's not the right time. I just feel, is it the best time for you to buy? And the other thing when it comes with the trends is I also would like to reach out to my realtor, find out, tell me what's going on. What are people telling you? What are the sellers? What are the buyers telling you? So then I'm able to pass that information off to the members that I'm dealing with.
That's true. That's very, very true. Because how else will we know? Right?
Exactly.
Okay, one of the biggest questions that we get asked when we're working with a buyer is what kind of costs should I expect, like as far as when I'm going for my mortgage? Can you just explain to us like where the cost would be for a new buyer?
Yes, there are many costs that you want to make sure that you have funds set aside for. One of the biggest one is you've got to make sure that you've got that down payment. That will be the biggest one. Okay. You also want to make sure that you have funds set aside for your closing costs. So closing costs will be real estate fees. I also like to include in there hookups for your utilities and moving expenses. The other one also is, do we need an appraisal on your property? That is another one that is out there, and definitely we need to find out the value of your home. So that is another cost that there could be as well.
This question is about taxes. When people are coming into tax season, we're heading into that right now, where they're doing personal taxes. What kind of documents should they prepare when, they make the call, they make the decision that they want to do this, move forward, either buy or sell? What documents would you say that they need right now to streamline this process?
Okay. Okay. So one of the things before I even tell them about what type of documents that they require is what type of income do you have, right? So depending on the type of income you have, the documents will be different. But I will just give you an overlap of what could be used for basically everybody. And it would be your 2 years of income tax returns, your 2 years of notice of assessments, letter of employment, and also a current pay stub. We do deal with a lot of people that are self-employed, and every self-employed member is going to have their own unique situation. So what we really like to do is we want to gather our information, talk to the member individually to find out exactly what their situation is. We do want to take it as a case-by-case basis and look at the risk and assessment, and we can possibly look at making some exceptions as well. We want to take a look, what are your assets? What are your liabilities? Let's take a look at your personal financial statements. We want to take a look at the whole picture, and then we are certainly, we would be able to give you a suggestion as to how we can move forward.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Charlene, you have a lot of experience in this business. Can you just elaborate for me what, what you've done for the lending business and just give me a little bit of insight just on you?
Well, I have been with the credit union 17 years. And I have a big membership following. I am so fortunate that I do have that big membership base where I do get a lot of referrals. And honestly, that has to be the best compliment, is when I do get a referral from someone else. I did good for that person and they are trusting me with their family or friend to do the same for them.
Absolutely. Okay, let's fast forward. So everybody got their house, and now we want to know beyond that. What kind of service do you provide to your clients? Because we do get that question too afterwards, like if they need money for something else. So walk us through that.
I'm really passionate about building relationships with my members. There are, once a person buys a house, there are so many different things that they may need in their future. And I just want to make sure that I've built that relationship with them, that they know that they can contact me, that I will be there. I like to hold their hand. Sometimes, I know some members, they'll pick up their phone and they'll say, oh, you know what, it's Charlene that's calling me. Wow, what a great thing. And I just want to make sure that I am there for them. They know that they can trust me. And along with that, we have so many great services at the credit union. We really want to wrap our arms around our members. We have a fantastic wealth team. Our front end line, they're there. So many of our staff know all of our members by name. People come here and they want to feel comfortable. And I just want to make sure that I'm there for the members, that I take them from when they bought that house. Now they're starting a family, they're sending their children off to school. Possibly I've seen some of them that they're now ready to downsize. They're looking for a retirement home. I want them to come back to me. I've spent a lot of time building those relationships. I would like to walk them through that journey.
That's beautiful, Charlene. I love that. Thank you so much, because, that is so important even in our business. We value our referrals as well. And I know how important it is for you to receive them too. So that's the best compliment, and I agree with you. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Charlene, we just wanted to say thank you because you provided so much positive information for our people and for your people. And we just really wanted to say thank you.
Thanks, Charlene.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and speak to me about our processes here at Servus Credit Union. Thank you.
And how can people get a hold of you?
For sure. They can call me directly at 780-638-7780. They can also email me at charlene.andrachuk@service.ca.
And if you didn't get your pens ready, it's okay. I will post all of the information in the link below. And
be sure to check out our full-length video of this on our YouTube channel. That will be also in the comments.
okay, great. Thanks. It was such an awesome interview. I loved it.
Awesome. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
again. Thanks again.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.